Welcome to Botanic Shed gardening sessions. I'm Laura Cowan and this is Niamh Kendall.
Hello.
Hi. Today we're going to talk to you about looking after houseplants at this time of year. Niamh's going to do that part. After there'll be a question opportunity. Then we're going to talk to you about symbolism of plants and foliage at this time of year, namely the mistletoe and holly. And then we're going to show you how to make a beautiful mantelpiece garland.
Yes.
Hi Molly. So Niamh Kendall here, she's got a large garden about 10 miles away from here.
Yes.
And an organic vineyard. And is a horticultural therapist who's been working in this field for 10 years.
Yes.
And I've recently trained, and I trained about 10 years ago in horticulture. So this is a very important part of the Botanic Shed ethos, is the manual and calming and routine tasks that you do in the garden connecting with nature. So I hope you enjoy them. And I'll hand over to Niamh for the houseplant session.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Well, the first one that is at this time of year is the poinsettia. Laura has one here.
I've chosen a white one to be different.
Yes, normally they're red. So the first thing I'd like to let you know is that it normally grows in Mexico, where it's beautifully warm. And at this time of year, it must be 25, 30, I'm not quite sure, but my son's on his way there in January, so it's really beautiful at the moment. So it's not really acclimatized to December in our climate, but it will do very well in the house if it's kept in a temperature of 21 degrees, dry and without grass. So now this is the one plant I'm going to allow you to I'm going to say that you are allowed to compost and don't stress about it, because there are many reasons you're not going to be able to keep this plant looking like this, and I'll explain. First of all, it's not acclimatized to our outdoors, so even sitting in the supermarket on at a point of sale with the doors opening and closing, it's getting a draft, and it's going from very warm to very cold very quickly. It is contained in a sleeve, and that will work as a little greenhouse for it, so that's be good. It has been bred and it's been very nicely. So one thing that they have put on is gibberellins, which are hormones, dwarf hormones, to keep it nice and compact. Now, we're not going to have gibberellins at home available to us. So what's going to happen is it's going to grow taller, elongate, and everything about it is going to just look leggier. So it's not going to look this good next year, even if we keep it alive.
So it's a hard job.
It's a hard job to keep it alive. And then the other thing that's happened to it is that there's a certain date, I'm not quite sure, it's around the 25th of October. It's light sensitive, so it needs 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of complete darkness. And that has been going on for the last 12 weeks to keep it looking like this. So that can be overcome by putting it in a cupboard or and this time of year we get about roughly 12 hours of darkness. So that can be overcome in your spare room.
And then pull it out of the cupboard in the day.
Pull it out, yes, exactly. Or even in a spare room because it's got enough light. So so that's the first thing. Then the other thing that's really lovely about them is that it's got leaves here, and then these are actually bracts. People think that it's the flower, but it's not. These are called bracts, which are a type of leaf form, not true leaves. It does attract the pollinator, which is why it attracts us. But the flowers are actually the tiny little buds in here, which haven't actually opened yet. So that's the poinsettia. Any more? What else can we do with it? It doesn't like dry. It likes to be kept dry, and then there's water when it's like now. It could probably do it with a little bit of water. If you would like to keep it alive, in April, just trim it back because it will start. So it's reverse of us. So in summer, it will start losing its leaves and fall off, which is completely normal. That's deciduous. And in April, if you just trim it back a bit, it will to 2/3 of the stems. You might have a good chance of keeping it going for next year. But as I say, don't stress about it. And at the end of the day, you can put it on the compost, which is really good anyway.
And they are cheap now.
Yes.
You can by mistake find them for much more expensive than you can get them at Aldi and Lidl and Morrison's for quite cheap. So
yes.
It doesn't feel so bad. And I think people go off them, don't they? Sometimes, but they really make a nice effect when they're put together in one place in the house as decoration.
Where's the mistletoe?
Here we are.
Oh, the mistletoe. We all love some mistletoe. So I'm going to talk a little bit about mistletoe and how to propagate it and how it came about to be so how we love it at Christmas. So why do we kiss under the mistletoe? Well, apart from it being quite a bit of fun, and the custom goes back to Greek and Roman and Norse traditions and mythologies, and even Druidry, old and new. Even Getafix used to love his mistletoe potions. The idea of mistletoe as a magical winter plant remains fresh and green while its host loses its leaves. So that's when the berries come about, and that's when it comes alive. So it's kind of a bit magical. That's where we kind of brought it from.
The host being the tree that you see it in. The tree's dead, and then suddenly you see these bunches of
exactly. Its association with fertility and power also reminds from this green appearance as the branches go back, and the foliage and sexual organs are also the function of the mistletoe. How does mistletoe spread? Well, there are different types of mistletoe, and in the UK, it's spread from the bird of the black caps, which find this berries irresistible. Then if you want to propagate it, it will love deciduous cotoneaster and apple trees. So you do what the birds do on the lace cap. You mimic them. You squeeze one of the. I've got a little. You don't have to do very much, but on your pretend that's a bark. You literally squeeze it in, and you can see the berry pops out, and try and keep it on. And literally, it's quite sticky. It will be there. It remains on the apple tree, and it takes many, might take a year, but it's worth giving it a go. So if you do that in April, we'll have a go at spreading some mistletoe. That'll be really rather nice. And then the only other thing I want to talk about is the Laurus nobilis. It's our bay leaf. And it was used for victors in the Roman times, and it's where we kind of get our wreaths from that we use. So the leaves are also reputed to have been chewed by the princess of the Delphic oracle to put her in her prophetic trance. So a little Bible. So that's a little bit about. Cyclamen is our other little one.
Here, I've got one in front of you.
Oh, lovely. The beautiful cyclamen. Now we can put this straight in the garden when it's finished in the house, and it will propagate very nicely. Underneath a tree is typical. It likes a bit of semi-shade. So when the tree is deciduous now, it gets the winter light, which brings it up. And normally the flowers come up first, which is really pretty, and then the leaves come. And the interesting thing about this is that it's propagated by ants. So they'll move the little corms around very nicely.
Corms, these are little bulbs.
Yeah, tiny little bulbs. And yeah,
carry them on their back.
Yeah, so sweet. So they come in a range of colours, and the larger ones are not so hardy, and they won't. Don't put them out in the winter at the moment. I used to do that, and every time I did it, the snow came, and that was the end of it. But these all survive in the house, and then when you're finished, pop them in under a tree in the garden, and you'll have cyclamen for ages.
And they will need, just every day they'll need a drop of water to keep them.
Yeah.
Looking after them in the house is just take off the dead leaves.
Yes, take off dead leaves. Underneath. And if you just feel put your thumb in, it's like a sponge. That's perfect. That feels good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to show you a corm, but we'll leave it. Should I show you?
Yeah. What you can't see,
delving,
it's just taken out the plant, compost is falling apart. But I'm like,
sorry, no, it's fine. I promise. Everybody thinks like, no, it's not gonna. No, the corm. That's not really obvious. Sorry, Laura. I'll get some next.
Just a little bit of
that was a bit.
Yeah,
it's on the floor now.
They're small and little nutty type things.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Send maybe pictures after.
Questions,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, and questions on your plants.
On that little section.
Show the
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, you can ask any questions if you want about the process or anything.
media stuff.
If you want to. Or you can
And
mention
then do you remember our first botanic shed, and we started with the hyacinths that I put in the cupboard. So I just wanted to show you that they're beginning to come up now. Not quite ready for Christmas, but I think they'll look nice in January. So maybe we should have started. I've also got a very cold house where I put these. But they're coming up quite nicely. And I'm pretty pleased. And
cover that with
and the narcissus,
can you see that?
paper whites are also in the same kind of position and looking really pretty.
They're right on top of the soil with some moss on. Lovely. So I'm just going to do a quick cover over a couple of things that like the holly crown, or the symbolism of holly. We've got a holly crown here made up, which what we want to do inside is hang this from a hook in the roof, so have it above us in a Christmas room. And we've just used a frame of the vines that we use for the garland. So it's a garland but up like this, and bunched up holly into bundles, and then place the bundles all around it. And this was originally worn by Celtic chieftains for good luck. Not very comfortable, but the holly is a symbol of eternal life, so and fertility. So really highly regarded. Obviously, this is why we love it so much as well. Has magical powers. Gardening has magical powers.
Yes.
Magical powers. It also symbolises peace and goodwill, which we sing about a lot this time of year. Rosemary, we're using this a lot in the garland, and this is really good for our brains. And it's always, white witches and Celtics and Druids have always talked about and known that the power of rosemary is for our memory and the brain function. Are really important now. So you can make rosemary tea, you can add rosemary to all your food, and just smelling it now is good for you. So it also increases blood flow to your head, and improves concentration, which for me is really good. And then I just wanted to touch on sage, which is alive and lovely at smelling this time of year as well, and can be used in cooking. I love fried sage leaves, but sage can be used in your decorations on your tabletop and on your garlands. And eating sage is supposed to give you, longer life, immortality and wisdom. So we've touched on the mistletoe already, the meaning of that. The other thing I want to say about the mistletoe, which we don't do, we keep it inside, but it's actually supposed to, well, the Celtics and Druids, it's supposed to be, above your door as you go in. Good luck. Yes, so I think I'm going to move it. And now if anyone doesn't have any questions about anything else that they've got in the house for Christmas, we're going to show you how to make a garland. One that we prepared earlier here. We just prepared a little end of it with a laurel base. With laurels you can see growing around bushes everywhere. I've just run around the road actually and got some more. We've got some snowberries in there, ivy, some lichen, twigs, rosemary, and some pussy willow and pine. So this is one we did earlier. We're just going to show you from scratch how to start it, and then we'll come back to this one to finish it. Obviously we're here to help you afterwards with any questions. Just put this one down. Niamh's going to take over. Yeah.
So I've just got a cage of chicken wire readily available anywhere, and cut it to about just 1.3, 1.5 meters. But so you want it like this, the length of your fireplace, ideally. It's a bit wide here, but that's fine. So first step is to fill it like a sausage with moss. Laura's gone out and got this in the woods. I got the moss for the first garland in my grass, after a bit. Muscarify. So I did some yesterday. And this is lovely. And then the other moss, if you don't have it widely available, is sphagnum moss that you can buy online. Sphagnum moss, there's all different types of moss. Sphagnum moss is the best. It really holds more water. I was working with a client and he said, oh yes, sphagnum moss, we used to use it in the war. So I Googled it and they did. They put it on wounds in the war because it's so absorbent, and I think it's was slightly sterile. I mean, so there you go. So it's useful.
Another ancient herbal reference.
So this is moist anyway, but we can wet it because it'll just keep our foliage a bit drier. So unlike when we first made our foliage a few weeks in the last session, we're in the house now and it's not going to keep as long, but we don't need it to because we're nearly at Christmas now.
Christmas show.
So the Christmas show, exactly. So we are going to, then we're going to wrap it up like a sausage, and we decided to keep it, well, like a sausage with a flat bottom, because then it sits on the mantelpiece easier.
Now you might be thinking, I can never do this, but what was you can,
Yeah.
But also what I just wrote on Instagram this morning is that I was telling Niamh yesterday that when I was a teenager, I literally used to just spend, hours and hours doing garlands. And one year I just did one every single place I could put one, and it really focused me and kept me, it kept me happy and in a creative place. And I loved doing it. And it's such a good job for teenagers and kids to be able to do and help in the house in terms of getting Christmas ready and have a really beautiful end product. So if you don't feel like it's for you, it's still something that you might be able to show and get one of your kids or godchildren or someone on the case of, and then you can have nice garlands at home and they can have a nice job. It's really, especially I think in your teenage years, you're starting to get a bit stressed out by what's going on at school and your hormones and puberty, and having these like activities, creative activities, stuff to do with going outside is really calming. I just remember, now look back and think, I was just in a meditative state. Right, now I'm going to do that banister. Everyone just running past me and I'm still just adding on foliage. But honestly, I actually haven't done it this way, so this is a really nice thing to learn, because we don't have a flat mantelpiece at home. We've just got a piece of wood against the fire. So actually, I put a piece of rope in here.
Yes.
And then cover it with chicken wire so that I can hang the rope along.
Oh, okay.
But,
that's a good idea.
But I could do rope and then moss around it. So there is the moisture.
And I would recommend putting a tray or something so that keep your wooden fireplaces sweet and don't damage it as well.
A tray
just a tray underneath, just to keep it from the water coming or damaging your mantelpiece.
I see, when you're putting it on the mantelpiece.
Yeah. Just some flat trays or baking trays, anything like that, just to keep it from running with paint. Yeah. So I've just tied the ends, kind of folded in the ends, I suppose, and wrapped this up. That's good.
What we're looking at. You do need a pair of wire cutters.
Yeah.
The tools are really just secateurs when you're collecting foliage, and then wire cutters for this part.
So very quickly we've got a nice base, and then we'll choose our foliage. So we've got laurel, which is super resilient, and I think will keep very well in the house, in fact. So I'm going to start trimming and putting it in.
An alternative to laurel, if you've got one outside, is a magnolia tree, because they're lovely thick glossy leaves, bright leaves as well.
Yes, and it's got and the back of the
really
magnolia
nice.
Is really pretty. See it looks just kind of shiny. Yeah, that's it. It's really pretty. So let's put that in a bit as well.
So when I was collecting the moss, I went into it quite late and it was getting a bit dark. Because I was focused on cleaning moss, I wasn't getting scared. But I was looking around and looking around for moss. If you look at very big trees, either that have are dying or that are just very big, and you can sort of notice that there's very bright stuff going on at the base of them. But lots of them, then I couldn't get any moss up to, so thin. But then a couple of them I had struck joy with, and I just brushed the moss off. Now, as long as you're not taking like tons and tons for commercial reasons, I think collecting moss for this purpose is okay, because it's good for us as well. You're actually convening, isn't that the word, with the moss and the tree while you're collecting it. And if you have the right mindset and you're doing this for the right reasons in terms of the goodness of your goodness of your soul, and you're grateful to nature for providing this, I think that's fine. Someone did say, "Oh my God, isn't it awful to collect moss?" But as I said, I don't think it is, unless we just
does regenerate. Moss is the oldest living, or one of the oldest living organisms in the world, and it's so successful because it's dehiscent properties, so it can remain dry and in a dormant state for so long, and then when it gets its water and the right conditions, it reignites and it grows again. It's it will be with us forever. Moss.
It smells amazing. Like, this is a piece of moss that I've actually had to take off with the branch. I thought I'd take that as part of the celebration. It smells like fruit. Can you smell it? Did you say that?
Oh yeah, it's really earthy as well.
Yeah. It's really lovely. Right, so the base is.
How are we looking? This bit's a bit fiddly, bear with us. They're all different types of, we could also use yew, which is also readily available everywhere. So I shall start putting in some yew.
Especially in churchyards, yew.
Yeah.
Can't find any.
I think I like the featheriness of it as well. What else can we use? Oh, we've got lots of ivy, which is readily available almost everywhere. Ivy, people don't like ivy. I know they don't like it in their garden, but it has great properties for animals, and keep them going over the winter. And even the bumblebees like them in the winter. So that's our ivy. Good.
Yeah, I can take loads of ivy off the tree over there. It's just grown straight up. And I'm going to grab this bit of ivy that I hang on the end. Here. Just put that.
Oh yeah. Form is lovely how it falls.
Yeah. Some bits of ivy, obviously just spraying these little bundles here. What would you call these?
Oh, they're the flowers. That is literally the
Flower
ivy
bundles.
flowers.
But then there's other bits which will be hanging down, which are basically made to add to the end of your garland, or to actually, even if you haven't got a garland, as a Christmas decoration with some ferns or something at the top. But we'll add this, and it will go down the side of the fireplace to add effect. Now the holly's going in.
Yeah. I'm just going to be aware that we're just going to be able to see this bits here. We don't want to see. Let's get this. It will dry out if you have it on the fireplace and the fire goes, but that will be after a while. We'll just keep it.
Yeah, it's so well,
yeah.
That's not a very nice piece.
So Yeah.
Add Christmas music.
Yes. Right. Well, this is for us. Fantastic.
Now you can see how it's coming in shape.
I think we're nearly there.
We want to put some rosemary, which I'll cut up.
Oh, the rosemary.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very feathery. It kind of gave it a different dimension. Laura's getting her therapeutic. Just even working with it though, you'll spread it. Just managing to keep going.
Yeah. And it's also quite a good community sort of thing that it can trigger you. There might be people that you know with big gardens who are on their own, and they'd love you to come round and see
That's
what
true.
big foliage they've got. And you could pick them a bunch or make them something, and then take it home yourself. And it means that you're socialising outdoors, which maybe is the thing now. But yeah, sharing love of creativity and nature with other people.
Lovely.
Now then there's some pussy willow here, which I've cut already, which we can add it.
Okay. Oh yeah, the pussy willow was
And
lovely.
some lichen and some eucalyptus as well.
Yes, both Laura and I are annoyed at ourselves for losing our eucalyptus. I moved mine into behind a border, and it was just not light enough. But
I had
lovely.
a eucalyptus tree, a stump, growing up with loads of perfect looking branches, like 100, like 50 or 60 feet.
Yes.
Just below a water tank, and then we emptied the water tank and cut the water sinks and stuff.
So the eucalyptus, if you have a eucalyptus tree, keep it. You have to coppice it every. I think it's in March, and this is the juvenile leaves. The juvenile leaves are quite different to the adult leaves.
Yeah, they're much longer, aren't they?
Yeah.
Someone said to me that hanging eucalyptus in your shower or bathroom is a good idea. Is it?
Yeah, because you'll steam the flowers and
Yes, and it's got the oil.
Your lungs. Good idea.
Do you know what the eucalyptus tree? Remember my trivia questions. The eucalyptus tree produces.
Licorice?
Nope.
Anyone?
You'll never guess. Sellotape. Because it's so sticky. So it comes on the tree as produces sellotape.
I think you've got enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to set another one.
Yeah.
I can set another one for you. Oh, we have some more. By the way, the pussy willow I actually had to buy from a florist. One florist who was selling it for £2.50 a stem, and then I got a big bunch for £7. But it's really, really beautiful, and it's also worth using if you like. If they come in a really long stick, and that's quite a good idea is to use it instead of like a beads, say for example around your Christmas tree, to lay these around on the branches, and they're pearly and soft and they're lovely, like little rabbit tails. So that's the thing. And here I thought, here's some lichen. Oh,
Yes.
You can add. I'll add some lichen.
You add the lichen.
Do you remember last time, Niamh, it was you, wasn't it? You
Yes.
said that if you can see lots of lichen on your trees near your home or wherever you are, this means the air is of really good quality, because lichen grows in environments, with plenty of oxygen in them. So people with asthma or lung conditions or COVID, you get to go to the woods just surrounded by lichen.
Exactly it. Oh, another indicator. Have you been? Your leaves are falling, and the sycamore has black spot, and you kind of think, oh, what's wrong with that? And actually, that's another good indicator of good air quality.
Or black spot on the sycamore.
Yeah, it's not killing it. It's just a
A positive.
exactly.
And we've also got this lovely mossy type. Here, we've got this, which is really nice.
Oh yes, it's like a forest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it in the front so that we can see.
And on one of our wreaths, we put really big blue hydrangea heads, which are really nice. Like they look like the blue velvet with the red apple peel. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
There's all sorts, and you might,
And this will do very well inside because if we have it outside, yeah, we could pop that in the center if you like.
Yeah, and you might not think, oh, this is any good because it's just brown or yellow, but how lovely it will look within a month's greenery. So I'll pop some in there as well.
Okay.
This is from the old farmhouse in Bampton where I grew up, and this is from Niamh's.
My garden.
Oh, my garden. And these, they match the back of the magnolia leaves. The colour.
I know, I've lost the magnolias here. Well, I had them, but
Oh,
they seem to be lost in there. So again, we can use our pine cones and decorate them. The other thing I'm going to use today is cinnamon sticks, which I bought online, to be honest. And I think they just give another kind of little dimension to us.
Can you all see the garland well enough at the moment? It's getting bigger and might not be able to see everything. You can you?
Sorry, do it.
Yep, we can.
Good. Yeah, so that's. You can use pine cones, the berries on the skimmia or the holly. I find the holly so quickly to work with. So I quite like the skimmia berries, which last quite a bit longer. Where are the skimmia berries?
Have you the one here?
Yeah. That's a holly one. It's fine. Here. Yeah. Let's put some skimmia on. I just find the holly so hard to work with. So again, like the holly, the skimmia are like the holly, they are male and female. So these are the female, but they need the male too. We do need the male, even though we're look pretty with our berries. We do need the male to nearby. We'll do another one of those. Oh, lost my thread. No, yes, literally. I'm going to put those in here. And yeah, we'll get our berries. I think we should.
Okay, pop around the side of enough. Putting together the cinnamon sticks. Do you want to just show them what?
Yes. Yes. Well, I lost my reel. No, because I used it. I lost that last time. Here, I got it. Buried in our foliage. So various lengths and sizes. So literally, I am just wrapping one around the other. And then use that stick to wrap around itself. And then I'm going to twist it so that they're quite tight. And then I'm going to unroll it. My wire cutting skills aren't great. There we are. You can see it. And then literally pop it in so it pops out. How's it looking from the front, Laura?
It's looking good. So we'll just roll it forward a little bit.
Okay.
And then looking really good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just going to keep this in front of it for a second. Yeah, just no, you don't have to do that. Yeah, that's really lovely. Obviously this is all foliage from the garden and all natural. Apart from the others in order of the cinnamon sticks.
Okay, yes. And we can grow cinnamon this country.
And this, obviously, we're using white and red colours.
Yes.
You can theme it to your own, you don't have to be red or white. I wanted to do a pure white a snowberry one, and went out trying to find snowberries and only managed to find sort of these type of things, which are on the original one, and they're tucked in. Didn't look very natural sort of in the packet, but tucked in, they do look nice. And that's for an art and craft shop. And then there was a very, you pull that one down.
Yeah.
So opposite to all of this lovely natural stuff. But these are £3 from Hobbycraft. And honestly, I've been to garden centres where you pick up a stick like this for £35, maybe a bit longer. So obviously Hobbycraft is the place to go to get achievable stuff. And you can and obviously this could be tucked in if you want to do a white one or different colours. They've got gold things. You can tuck them in and blend them into leaves. And you could also, I would maybe hide the green stuff.
Yes.
But use the berries.
The berries look kind of, they look cute. Another idea I had is chilies. I love my chili plants, but I did order these. And again, they can be used. Hold on, should I try and put them in?
On our kitchen table, I've bunched together 3 potted baby chili plants and lots of white cyclamen, which is really nice. Well, I did it for Halloween, but it carries on being a really nice Christmas decoration.
And the other thing we can use again,
smaller because I keep eating
the chilies. Yeah, they're very useful.
What were you going to say?
The other thing we can use is the oranges that you buy in the shop. The dried oranges, our oranges, they always look really.
Yeah,
pomegranates. Yeah, we could show our, and our cones. We could use more cones. I ran out of our cones with our Christmas wreaths.
This is the wreath that I made with the oranges, and these oranges are £3 for a bag of 3. But you can make them yourself. You make slits and then slow cook them.
Yeah,
and then poke wire through them to enable you to then attach them to whatever you're making. Same with the cones.
Yeah, so we'll put them in our little. And then less is more. We don't want to overkill it, but I'm just showing some options. So I think that is generally the
hold
idea.
it up a bit?
Yes.
And you'll see that. Now I'll take photos in better light on the mantelpiece as well. But I think that looks lovely.
Yeah,
really lovely.
Yeah,
and we do obviously maybe we don't need those cake berries. But
it's good to show the options.
Yeah, it is good to show the options. But it's a lovely mixture. Really beautiful. Love it.
Yeah, love it.
We've got 4 minutes left for people to ask questions if they'd like. Do you have any questions? I'll show this. No, you can unmute the people can unmute themselves if they like. Hello.
How long
Can't
would
hear
something
you.
like that last on the mantelpiece?
I think you've got
I said, how long would something like that last on the mantelpiece?
10 days. I think you've got a good 10 days. And you can, and as things dry up, I'd replace them, which is really easy to do. So that's the other thing we can do is just keep replacing, and some things will dry up more. I think maybe the rosemary might dry a bit more than the others.
Yeah, and you can just pull out
Do you think spraying them with water is a good idea every so often?
Yes, I think so, because they will absorb some more water. And then the moss as well, if you keep the moss kind of sprayed with water and irrigated, that will be really good. Yeah, be a good idea.
I mean, if you were able to get a tray that fitted your mantelpiece and then keep it with a little bit of water in all the time, it would last longer.
I think so.
Yeah. And Karen, you put something in the chat. Was it a question you'd like to ask?
She said, I've loved this, but can you come and make mine?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we should do. We're thinking of doing workshops next year as well.
Yeah, you can take them away yourselves, and we can help you make
and
them.
I think I love the community of I love doing activities with people. I find that quite therapeutic as well.
Yeah, so do you think it's easier than it looks if you look at the finished products? I think it is easy.
Yeah,
isn't
it is. It is really easy.
Yeah.
Foraging, it takes time, and getting the moss and getting everything ready takes time. But then you have to try and enjoy it, as you said earlier.
But that's the thing.
That's the thing.
That's you getting outside at this time
Yeah.
of year.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
incorporated on your walk,
Yeah.
walk to work, walk home,
Yeah.
your lunch. Yeah,
And it's doing something really different if you're not doing it. Doing different things changes your world, really.
and it forces you to notice things. I'm driving along noticing things because I'm looking for cones a lot, and I find I'm kind of noticing a lot more. Maybe I shouldn't be driving along doing, but walking would be probably a bit better.
Yeah.
Noticing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'd encourage you to we can come and make you one, and anyone else who'd like our help in any other way, just DM me, and this recording will go on the members site. So thank you all very, very much. I'm really excited about our next session because Niamh said I could do kokodama, and I was like, what is that dance? And then I've since seen it in a magazine. I was like, oh my gosh, it's a
It's a Japanese hanging basket.
It's a beautiful moss ball, really stunning, really unique, and very stylish.
Yes, you can use it with cyclamen, poinsettia. They use it with ferns are really good, and it's really stylish. And we can do it. So I'm going to make a kokodama.
Yeah, so that's in January.
Yeah,
and then for the rest of the month we've got the Eco Ninja Yoga, sleep next week, and mindfulness, and the Doctor Q&A. And then on the 8th of January we're all going to meet for a winter drink, and then a walk across the Cotswold Hills from Astle Manor in Burford. So that's at 12 noon, and that's actually a little launch for us in 2022 after a 3 months trial period. Well, 3 months of starting out and seeing that this is actually so enjoyable to do, and everyone's enjoying it so much. So it's a real pleasure to be delivering it with, together and with everyone. So I will see you all soon.
yes,
We will.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.